Yo guys, what's up? I'm gonna do a little ZF farming here and get a little XP and get a little bit of gold. Let's get into it. So we're gonna start off front into the graveyard here. What we're gonna do with these mobs is we're gonna jump past them and turn. And this is so they don't daze us or knock us off the mount, and it'll be easier to get to the graveyard. Then we're gonna run up to the left side here and get on this wall. Once we get over here, we'll jump up to the top part of the wall and it'll reset the mobs. While you're up here, you can go ahead and heal up if you got hit, or you can apply wisdom or get protection aura, whatever you need to do, and then get ready for the next part. After you exit combat, you'll go ahead and drop down and mount up again, and then we're going to avoid these mobs right here, keep jump turning, and then go around the corner. Just try to keep your distance from all these guys and don't get knocked off your mount. Go on the left side here and then maybe crisscross over to the right side. You can pretty much do this however you want. This is just the way I did it. As we continue on up here, whenever you pass the mobs, you're gonna want to continue to jump turn. That way you still don't get dazed or knocked off your mount, because being at such a low level, it's probably going to happen unless you do that. And once you get into the graveyard room, you're gonna want to dismount off your mount and then jump towards that ledge right there, land on it, and then jump up again. That way you can get up here to the reset spot. And I always heal up whenever I get here. Once they're reset, we'll go ahead and run into the boss, and then you'll see these graves. And what I do is I triple click these. Sometimes you can double click them and then reset right here behind this pot. Just make sure you pull the boss, because whenever you click the graveyards, the mobs run towards the boss. I usually heal up here or bandage or whatever needs to be done to get health back. Once they're reset and you left combat, we'll go ahead and continue on. I usually go in a big circle here whenever I'm doing these graveyard runs, and it seems to work out pretty well. And if you get dazed just like I did, you can always bubble and then run to either side of the pot there, because as you just seen, you can get stuck and then get clapped if your bubble fades away. And then you can jump onto the ledge and reset and heal up again. And just wait until they run back. Sometimes I jump up here too, and you can also reset it. It doesn't really matter how you reset the mobs, just as long as they get reset. And then the last little bit here for the graveyard, you just run over, click the rest of these, and then jump back up on the ledge, reset once more, and then you're ready for the initial pull. Before we start the pull, I'll go over the talents real quick and what's needed to do the actual pull. So the talents that we're going to be using is going to be in the retribution tree. We're going to go 29 points. There's a few key reasons why we're doing this, because it has certain talents that we need. The first one being vengeance, which gives you a 5% bonus to physical and holy damage you deal for 30 seconds after dealing a critical strike from a weapon swing, a spell, or ability. Whenever we use the iron grenades or the dynamite, it could proc and generate this vengeance ability. So it'll be really good. Then we're going to be using Sanctity Aura, which increases our holy damage done by 10%. We're going to combo this with Consecration, and then we're going to improve it by 2% with this talent. We also have Crusade, which increases all damage against humanoids, demons, undead, and elementals by 3%. We're also going to be using the Pursuit of Justice, which will give us a 15% movement speed increase while we're going between these mobs here. One of the add-ons that I use is called Item Rack, and it just basically allows me to switch between two different sets. So you got your prot set for getting here to the graveyard and taking a little bit of damage so you don't die. And then you have your DPS set, which is mostly Intellect and Spirit, and you combo that with all the spell power that you're going to be getting from your talents, and then you'll be able to have more mana, mana regen, things like that, and it just helps out a lot. So if you don't have this add-on, I would highly recommend getting it and then just swapping between the two. That way you don't have to get every piece of gear, switch it out every single time you do these pulls, because you're going to be doing a lot of pulls. And you can also keybind these, so with just a touch of a button, you'll switch back and forth between the two sets of gear there. Pretty cool. Highly recommend it. Don't have to, but it saves a lot of time. We swap sets here from the prot set to the DPS set. switch your aura, get your blessings on, lube up your sword to get more spell power out of it. As you can see here, there's some consumables that you can use. The wizard oil actually helps a lot with the damage, and you can combo it with the consecration, since that's going to be most of your damage during these pulls anyways. And then we start off with the pull. We're going to use turn undead. That way we fear the mob into the other mobs, and they all run into each other, and then they'll social aggro. So they pull each other as they run. You also have exorcism to get the stragglers that don't run, which is a 15-second cooldown but instant ability. And then to get the mobs on the outside that don't social aggro, we're going to use iron grenades. Right here I use the dynamite, but the iron grenades, they throw a lot further, but they all share the same cooldown, so you want to make sure that you use the correct ones there. And here's a list of the damage spells and items that we're going to use throughout this. That's going to make us, be able to kill the mobs. The easy throw dynamite does not require engineering, but the rest do. We run up here, we do a consecration, get a little bit of damage. You want to keep damage on them as long as you can. I believe it's after 30 seconds. If you don't deal damage, they will start to lose experience on them. So you want to keep damage. I have rank 1, 2, and 3 consecration on my bars, and that's just based off how much mana I have to, be adjusted with as the fight goes on. So we can use these two paths here to have the mobs run back and forth. Essentially, while doing this, they're not gonna touch you. I mean, if they do, you can heal up or bandage, whatever you need to do, and then you can get back onto the platform and continue switching them back and forth. Now, I just threw a bomb, and as you saw, it started vengeance. So now the consecration is doing more damage. And keep in mind, vengeance can stack up to 3 times, and it will eventually as you go along with these fights here. But we'll use these 2 points here, and we'll jump back and forth, get some damage in. You can drop down. There's a couple different ways that you can do this. I tried it a few different ways. It really doesn't matter. The mobs will eventually die, and then you'll get your experience. Just make sure you deal damage in some kind of way throughout the whole time whenever they're padding back and forth. You can also, just for a little bit more XP, you can get the Troll Temper quests. I did for this run. It's a dungeon quest. It's a lot of XP, so I would recommend getting that. And as these mobs start to take a lot of damage and they're about to die, they will slow down a lot. So whenever you're going back and forth, it'll take a little bit more time, but just continue to do what you're doing and you'll eventually get it. Whenever you're throwing bombs like I just did and you saw, don't throw it ahead of the pack. You'll have to throw it directly on the pack, even if they start running past like where you're throwing, because it'll still hit them. And whenever you do that, it actually hits basically all of them, and it'll be more damage instead of trying to throw it in front. Whenever I started trying to throw in front, it just wasn't working because it just wasn't hitting the hitbox. As they start to die here, go ahead and start looting. It's actually a lot of money. There's a lot of Maze Weave cloth that drops, and there's a lot of greens that drop. At the end of this video, I'll actually show what I sold. It's quite a lot of money, especially if you're an enchanter too. You can disenchant the items and sell them on the auction house. And there's also some blue items and some purple items that can drop from here too. Some of the stuff that drops from here is really overlooked. I was actually quite surprised on how much gold you can actually make. I mean, you're gonna level here from 40 to at least 52, maybe 54. So you might as well make some money while you're at it, because whenever you hit 60, you can get an epic mount. And I mean, you're basically getting 2 things done at once while you're in here. Doing the leveling and getting gold. It's quite nice, actually. As the mobs are just about to die here, you want to continue doing the same strategy that you've been doing. You know, dropping the consecration, running back and forth, maybe healing if you get hit, reapplying wisdom if you need to. Just remember to stay out of reach, because they will slap you around and then you could die pretty easily, especially when there's a couple of them left. They will clap you instantly, so you have to be aware of that. Just remember, these are elites and you're not in proc gear, and even if you were in proc gear, they'd still kill you really, really, really fast. I also wanted to show you, if you got stuck right here between these two walls, the easiest way for me is you can turn around and just keep jumping, and you'll literally get wedged and jump right up. So here's the level 50 pools. Once you hit level 50, you get a couple new abilities. You can start using Divine Shield, rank 2, you get Holy Wrath, and you can actually start using major mana potions at level 49 if you haven't already. We're gonna do the same way with the pools that we did before. Whenever you're stacking them up, make sure you don't jump all the way on the outside of the wall here, because if you do, they will instantly attack you, and then you'll die, and then you'll have to run all the way back again. So you'll want to stay on the inside of the wall. Then now we have Holy Wrath. So what I did here was I opened with Holy Wrath, put down a new Consecrate, because you get a new one at 50, and then I bubbled to get them all stacked up, and then you can do another Consecrate, and you can start comboing with this. And whenever Divine Shield has like probably 1 second left or so, I always jump out of the way, and then they'll take all the Consecrate ticks that they can before they move out of it. And then we'll throw our Dynamite pretty much on CD whenever it's up, and as you can see, it procs Vengeance again, and it has 3 stacks. And then we'll begin the real grind. And with hitting 50 and getting a new Consecrate, it's actually really nice with the damage. I actually could have done more damage here if I would have used Wizard Oil, but for some reason, I guess I forgot halfway through this run. But you know, I still got the XP and I still got the gold for it. Just continue on. Try and keep Holy Wrath on CD as much as you can. Use it every time it comes up. As you do that, it's gonna take a lot of mana, so you're gonna have to use your potions. Basically, what I did was, as soon as I seen it get a little bit lower, like in my mana pool, I would use my mana potion to keep topped off as much as I can throughout these runs. Maybe not in this specific scenario, but that's what I do whenever I'm healing in raids too. If I get to a certain threshold that I notice, I'll go ahead and pop a mana potion so it'll get on CD, so I can use another one faster later whenever I'm gonna need it. And then you can pump out more damage as we do these pulls. I'm gonna go ahead and speed it up a little bit right here. I also forgot to mention earlier that whenever you're using your grenades, you can move while using it. So that's really beneficial as well, to apply some of the damage while you're fighting. We're still just going back and forth here, jumping between these 2 points, dropping Consecrates, reapplying the Wisdom or the Wizard Oil if it falls off, using grenades. Then I slow it back down real quick here because I wanted to show you a combo I did. So right here, I'll do a Consecrate, and then I bubble, and then I Holy Wrath, and then I Consecrate again. That's a huge combo you could use. I killed like half the mobs there, just about half the mobs. So this was pretty much the entire run. At level 40, it's a little tricky, because you got to learn how to like get past all the mobs and stuff at the beginning in your low levels, so they can knock you off your mount if you're not jump turning and stuff like that. But after a while, you'll get the hang of it, and then it'll become easier and easier, and you'll get better with the repetitions as you go. And then once you get higher level, you'll do more damage and get better abilities, and it'll get easier because you just put the time in. And here I wanted to just show you guys the gear that I used. All of it came from the auction house except for the neck and the sword, and I just happened to get those from Scarlet Monastery, but you can get the neck and the weapon from the auction house too. All you need to look for is spirit and intellect gear, and then spell power gear. And then the end result with the gold, some of the gear sold that I got, it was like 10, 20, 30 gold just for the pieces of gear. And all of the mage weave sold 4, 5, 6 gold for stacks of that, and the silk cloth sold for like half gold per each stack. There was also some disenchanting mats that I sold. So this is pretty good amount of money just for, you know, taking your character for 10 plus levels. So take advantage of it while you can. And then the end result is 384 gold. So that's actually not too bad. But anyways, thanks guys. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. I do stream on Twitch, so please check that out on the link below. And happy farming.